Today, I will tell you about an omitted exhibition from 1960 to the present. It has not recorded in art history yet. First, let me start with a letter from US President Dwight D. Eisenhower to General Yeh Tsui-Pai. This was on July 6, 1960. President Eisenhower said that as Mrs. Drumright personally forwarded to him a scroll painting that Yeh Tsui-Pai gifted to him. She also sent him a translation of the more than generous dedication that Yeh attached to the scroll. He understands that they share both their vocation, at least his vocation of some 40-odd years, and an avocation, although you are an outstanding artist and I am but a rank amateur. He is sorry that they did not have an opportunity when he was in Taipei to meet and to discuss their many common interests. I found out that on June 18, 1960, U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower and his 200 entourage visited Taipei, Taiwan, China. At that time, when he and President Chiang Kai-shek went to Grand Hotel together, the people lined the streets. President Eisenhower received an unprecedented warm welcome. Ambassador Drumright said that this might be the warmest welcome President Eisenhower ever received during his visit to various countries in the world. After that, the gift of Yeh's painting followed. On December 23, 2020, I guided the exhibition of Ambassador and Mrs. E.F. Drumright's Ink Diplomacy. This was the exhibition I curated at the San Diego Chinese Historical Museum. The cover of its catalog was the twin horses of General Yeh Tsui-Pai. At the exhibition, on the painting of General Yeh Tsui-Pai, the inscription writes, "A gift to China's greatest friends, Mr. Drumright and Madame Drumright." Yeh Tsui-Pai writes in Taipei in February of the 51st year of the Republic of China, that is 1962. At that time, I wondered why Yeh used the word China's greatest friends. Later, I found out that Ambassador Drumright took office on March 8, 1958. On August 23, 1958, the 823 artillery battle of Kinmen took place. Within 2 weeks, General Yeh Tsui-Pai was acting as the corps commander in Kinmen at that time. Ambassador Drumright also went to Kinmen to support the supplies to soldiers then. So they had a friendship of sharing hardships and became best friends since. General Yeh Tsui-Pai retired in 1960 and created his horse paintings officially from then. This exhibition opened in December 2020. However, due to the COVID epidemic, it postponed to April to July 2022 for the in-person views of the public. In October 2020, when we finished the first draft of the catalog, Dr. Polly Liu and I sent it to Dr. Alex Chuang, the former director of the San Diego Chinese Historical Museum. Owing to Alex being living in a nursing home at the time, we could not meet him due to the epidemic. But we could talk through the window using a walkie-talkie. After we finished, we were ready to leave. A young nurse suddenly ran out and asked, "Are you talking about Florence Drumright?" We said, "Yes." Then she said, "I think she is my great-aunt." Then she called her father on the spot and asked, "Is Florence Drumright your aunt?" Her father immediately said, "Yes, Florence is my aunt." What a happy surprise. I recorded her name and contacted her father later. On May 22, 2022, we invited their whole family to visit the exhibition. This is Mr. Paul Acker and his wife, Carol, and their daughter Lauren, the young nurse we met a year and a half ago. After seeing the exhibition, they were incredibly grateful. They told me that within 2 weeks, they would have a big family gathering and would tell all their siblings and cousins about this exhibition. When Mr. Paul Acker contacted me for the first time, he immediately sent me 3 precious photos. This one turned out to be President Chiang Kai-shek, Madame Mei-Ling, Ambassador E.F. Drumright, Mrs. Florence Drumright's younger brother, Mr. Acker, and this is Mrs. Florence Drumright and Mrs. Acker. The second one is the official invitation issued by the then presidential office. At 4:30 p.m. on May 1, 1960, at the National War College Auditorium in Grass Mountain. Civil officials should wear dark casual clothes, and military officers should wear military uniforms. There were 2 guest passes, as well as a translation of the invitation. There were also the Chinese and American flags and a vehicle pass. The left side of the envelope was Chiang's letter, and the middle was Mr. and Mrs. Acker. They put all these things in a frame as a souvenir. The third photo he sent was Yeh Tsui-Pai's horse painting. Florence Drumright gave this painting to his younger brother, Mr. Acker, in 1960. Paul liked it very much, so he asked his parents to give it to him. Therefore, in 1970, they gave it to Paul and told him that Yeh Tsui-Pai painted it, and another artist inscribed it. The inscription is Teng Shou Tian Chu, which means a galloping horse flies freely toward the vast sky. Because newly appointed Ambassador Drumright as a professional minister, Yeh Tsui-Pai was honored to paint this to congratulate him. Liang Han Chao inscribed it in the summer of Gengzi, which means 1960. Next, through Paul Acker's introduction, I contacted 5 nephews and nieces of Mrs. Florence Drumright. A niece, named Sharon Yunga, provided me with more than 10 pictures. This is one of them. It is a group of horses also by General Yeh Tsui-Pai. I felt excited after seeing this painting. In the same book as the letter of President Eisenhower mentioned above, Yeh Tsui-Pai's collection of paintings also recorded that President Lyndon B. Johnson, who was the Vice President of the United States in 1961, stayed at the Grand Hotel when he came to Taipei too. At that time, Mrs. Florence Drumright specially took this group horse's picture by Yeh Tsui-Pai from her home and hung it in President Johnson's residence in the Grand Hotel. As a result, when moved in, President Johnson said that General Yeh's painting of horses bears so much resemblance to the horses in my home state of Texas, truly beautiful. At the back part of the book, we also saw a few photos. Under a title, which means International Friends Who Appreciate Yeh's Talent. The first photo was that Ambassador Drumright and his wife visiting Yeh's home. Yeh said that Mrs. Drumright once praised him as the god of painting horses. She ordered a brocade dress and asked General Yeh to paint a group of horses for her. In 1962, the United Daily News published an article saying that Ambassador and Mrs. Drumright were addicted to horses. It also said that on March 8, 1962, the eve before they depart from Taipei, China, Ambassador Drumright's wife, Florence, did one thing which proved her deep nostalgia for Chinese art. She asked General Yeh to paint horses on an elegant dress which was custom-made. She hoped Yeh could paint horses by American's black ink. Therefore, Yeh drew a group of arc-shaped galloping horses on the front of her dress, and 2 horses on the back, one forward and one backward. Florence was incredibly pleased. She put it on immediately, looked at it repeatedly, and was reluctant to take it off. She said she would wear this dress only when she had an important meeting in Washington. When Florence left China, she brought the album, Paintings by Yeh Tsui-Pai, with her and would give it to her father, Mr. Tietz. In 2021, I bought a thread-bound book from one used book website, the collection of paintings and calligraphies by famous contemporary artists. Yueh-Po inscribed on the cover. It published in June 1962 and contained 2 pictures of Yeh's galloping horses. I also bought one issue of Time's Life magazine, which includes Yeh Tsui-Pai's special edition. It published on July 10, 1985. You can see that its cover is General Yeh and his 2 horse paintings. The back is also his horse painting. On November 29, 2023, after listening to my son's strongly recommendation, I went to an exhibition by artist Hsin-Ching at the Sun Yat-Sen Memorial Hall in Taipei. I saw an extra-long painting of a group of horses on the sidewalk of the 3rd floor. I thought Yeh Tsui-Pai must be the painter. Sure enough, this is an extraordinary painting. You can see it when walking down the stairs from the 3rd floor. Owing to the reflection on the glass, my photo is not satisfactory, but it allows us to see it more clearly. Finally, it was 2 weeks ago, February 11, 2025, after reading Tian Ma Rong Ma, Mr. Yeh Tsui-Pai's 85-year-old memoir, he talked about many histories. In the middle, it included the time in early 1960. Because the auditorium of the USIS in Taipei was just newly built, Ambassador Drumright asked his secretary to organize 3 exhibitions in 1960. The first was Chiang Dai Chien, the second was Lan Yin Ding, and the third was Yeh Tsui-Pai. Later, when sending 3 artists home, Lan Yin Ding said, "I have already held an exhibition when I returned from a trip to the U.S. State Department in the year before last. So I will not hold it. You too can do it." Therefore, Chiang Dai Chien's exhibition opened in January 1960. Then Yeh Tsui-Pai's exhibition in April. It received a very sensational result. In April 1960, the ISIS also published a large album, the special edition of the USIS exhibition, Paintings by Yeh Tsui-Pai. After Yeh's exhibition, several artists went to ask the USS why after Chiang Dai-Qian's exhibition, Yeh Tsui-Bai's exhibition follows, why they did not invite the famous artists like Huang Junbi and Pu Xinyu. The USIS replied that we think Yeh Tsui-Bai's paintings are the most extraordinary among all Chinese paintings. Later, because of those painters, Yeh said that the ISIS could not tolerate their bugging, so it held another joint exhibition for a total of 36 painters on December 20th to 25th, 1960. This is the cover and back cover of this catalog. I bought it while curating the exhibition in 2020. This catalog, the ISIS used Huang Junbi's painting as the cover and Pu Xinyu painting as the back cover and held an exhibit of contemporary Chinese paintings. When I looked at the catalog, I only knew that there were 36 painters and 86 paintings. I suddenly remembered that when I was making the YouTube video for artist Chiang Yueh-Po, I saw the number of 84. So, I quickly checked the English book on Chinese painting, named, brush and ink. I did not expect that the last number of pages in the book content was page 84. When adding the last painting, 85, and the cover painting, there were 86 paintings. So, I double-checked the name of each painting and the name of the artist, surprisingly found that they were the same. Heritage Press in Taipei published it in December 1961. So, this means that they printed this album 1 year later. Finally, I found out that this album contains all the paintings in the exhibition at that time. What I bought first is the catalog of the exhibition. I am lucky to have collected all the paintings and the catalog of this exhibition from December 20th to 25th, 1960. I plan to introduce this exhibition to everyone after finishing Yeh Tsui-Bai's series. Please look forward to it.